Welcome everybody to another episode of PDR Tool Time. This is episode 187, and this will be a recap of the Dent Digest show that aired on YouTube with Ryan Shutt this past week. We are recapping what we talked about and having it in a podcast form for all of you listeners. So please enjoy the show. This episode is brought to you by no one but Dent Digest and PDR Tool Time.
East Coast time, it's been a little bit of an adjustment, you know. The little bit of sleep we did do in Vegas, it still messed me up.
Oh, yeah. It was a lot of work talking to all those people, right?
It was. So what was your, I don't want to get into, you guys did a little recap on your show on MTE. What did you think about the MTE this year?
Me personally, I loved it. It wasn't just the fact that it was, 3.5 hour drive for me. It was the fact that I got to hang out with a whole bunch of good people and different people than usual. Going to Florida since 2006 now. A lot of the West Coast guys or west of Colorado Rockies really don't venture out that far. And it was actually really cool meeting a lot of new people.
It was. For me, I don't get to see the West Coast guys. East Coast dominates Orlando, so it's always see those guys. And the good thing is, like with me doing this show and the little bit of videos that we do, there's a lot of West Coast guys that watches, so I get to spend a little bit of time with those guys. There was a guy, a big ant from Premium Dent Repair, follows all of my stuff, comments, always a super nice guy and super energetic and just appreciative, and it was just nice to get to spend time with them.
Yeah, Big Ant. He's up in Daniel Gromm's neck of the woods.
Yeah,
and he took my IMI class on Thursday at MTE, and first time, he came in hugging. He's like, "Oh, Vince, man, I listen to every podcast. I love you," and all that stuff. And turns out he plays drums, or not drums, but congas and bongos and all sorts of stuff. I'm like, dude, go to Guitar Center and get something. Let's rock out. Let's rock out at MTE. He almost did.
He was so passionate about paintless dent repair.
Yeah.
That's what, when I get back from MTE, that's what energizes me.
Absolutely.
Just the industry guys, the littler guys that are just trying to still figure it out. He's still a newer tech, so he was still trying to figure out, where his place is. And it was just his personality and his enthusiasm was just, it was awesome.
It was, yeah. A lot of people were saying it was a lot more laid back than Florida. Did you feel that?
Yeah. You know what it was? It was the weed.
Oh, right. They all went to the dispensaries, huh? I didn't even think about that.
But it wasn't as crazy. I remember Orlando at Caribe and even last year, people running through that front door. Yeah. You've got two booths everybody seems to go to. It's always Stanliner, Keco. It's always these couple draws that people are running to. So it was the same thing with Stanliner this year. It was bonkers over there. Sure.
You know what the funny thing about that was? Like myself and Toledo, 2 years ago, while we were running around MTE, we were videotaping and filming and doing interviews at different booths. I don't think they probably sold 10 tools at the Stanliner booth. And what a difference a year makes, or 2 years.
Yeah.
Go back 3-4 years at the Keco booth, Chris White would just be standing there and no one would be talking to him at all. Right?
Yeah.
And what a difference, 3-4 years makes in this industry. Once we get these tools in our hands, we start using them. It's like, holy cow. It's just amazing.
I think social media is a big help.
Yeah.
Just like today, I saw Hudson doing some quick reviews on Facebook, on tabs, on the B&D prop and lock. And it's that point of getting those tools out that the guys don't have yet.
Yeah.
The East Coast guys that didn't go to that don't have these tabs that are magical.
No.
It's
I have
it's
my
nice
bag right here, waiting to be
Look at that fresh
used.
pack. Look at that. It smells like money.
It does.
But, it's the innovation at this show was, I think it was more innovation at this show than it was in Orlando last year, as in tool innovation.
Mm-hmm. What I noticed with a lot of the tool companies right now is they're not really waiting to release tools at MTE Orlando and the new one, Vegas. They're, as soon as they come in, they're releasing them because they have the platform of social media now that they could get them out there right away, start a buzz about them. The buzz either goes good or it goes south. And then now you have these shows coming up, and you have PDR World Cup coming up here in November as well. You'll be able to go and sample these tools and feel them out. Because, I'd like to have tools in my hand before I buy something, to be honest with you. So
I'm a feel and touch guy.
I am, yeah. And I'm fortunate enough to be close to Ultra Dent Tools here and Dent Gear when they were here in California. I'm right around the corner from B&D, so I've gotten those tools in my hand. But there's other tools, A1s and stuff like that I don't always get right away that we could actually touch and feel when we go to these shows, And
just to touch on what you just said with A1, I had a lot of calls when I got back from MT about Maria. She had a terrible accident, and she's got a long road ahead of her. There were some confusion that people thought that there was a car accident. She was actually burned. She fell into her hot tub, and it's got a little bit of a road. I see they put a little statement out today, which was good. Yeah. So at least kind of answered some questions for some of these guys. But, it's always tough when in our niche industry, when someone really goes down hard that's in the industry. She was on Facebook. She was always at the show, smile on her face all the time. So, it was nice at MTE to see the small niche community get together, do a raffle, and, auction off some tools. And it was just nice to see how fast. I mean, that was one day that whole thing got put together and put out there.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's one of those things too, because John Callenbeck is a very private man. I'm sure he was more focused on his wife and what had just happened in his family and his beautiful 3 daughters that, just had a terrible accident happen to their mother. But he personally put that up on the internet today to let everyone know, what happened. Because how the gossip mill goes around, and before you know it, it's worse than it is.
I heard first thing in the morning, and I called John Vidine, the Dent Reaper, and because I know he's super close with him, and just kind of let him know. He wasn't even awake, but I could tell I was kind of taking the wind out of his sails. So
yeah.
But the good thing is they've got a lot of support behind them. Not even just in the paintless dent repair industry, more into their personal family, super close. So I think she'll be fine.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And that raffle wasn't for money. They don't need money. They do well on their own. It was more to buy gift cards for groceries, and they were sending those gift cards from the raffle to the Callenbecks.
And it was a lot of. It was like $4,200 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it got up there. I know John Vidine. I guess it's Vidine. Huh? I've been calling him Vidine for ages. He never.
Maybe you're saying it right and I'm wrong.
No, I think you're right. In fact, I was corrected on Vidine. So, like at MTE, but he's never corrected me. Someone's like, "It's Vidine." I'm like, okay. Anyways,
I call him the Dent Reaper.
The
so
Dent
it's much
Reaper.
easier.
Yeah, he was there. His tools were there. He was kind enough to donate some tools to the PDR Tooltime booth, which is now called the PDR Tooltime Playground.
It's the playground.
Yes.
Which I want to give you guys credit. It was a great idea.
Yeah. That's Daniel's idea. It was Daniel's.
I think you guys need to just keep rolling with it. I think it'll get better with time. I think it was a lot because there was always someone that was stuck in the booth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it was a really good, you could go in there and you could try a tool and feel it out. Okay, I've never tried that Dent Reaper rod. Let me try that. Let me see if I like it. I think it's a great idea. And you had quite a bit of tools over there.
Yeah. Yeah, we had quite a few. I think what I our concern was like with theft. For some reason, we were thinking, oh, people are going to walk off with tools or technicians or whatever. So they cordoned off the area rather than having it wide open to just walk in. So I think people were standing on the outside thinking, oh, I need to stay out here or whatnot, just look at the tools. Every time I saw someone standing out there, I said, hey, grab a tool, come on in, come on in and test it out and see.
Yeah, I mean,
see if you like it.
And it's even scary at that show. It's scary at a lot of the events, even like Anson Open House. You could really walk away with anything you wanted.
Yeah.
Any one of these shows. But I think there's a lot of respect in our industry. Guys that are going to this event respect because it is small niche companies. Just like your Magnatek, Matt.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, you are a millionaire off of it. So.
Oh yeah. Please walk off with them if you see them laying around at any event.
It's such a niche market, and it takes forever for you guys to recoup any of the cost on these things. So
yeah,
I always try to explain to guys, why does this tool cost this? Because you have no clue what it takes to machine tools to make this stuff. How long did it take you to really produce this?
Oh, geez. Well, technically that's version 2, and it took me 2.5 years to perfect that. Version 1 was good, but version 2 is great, and I'm very proud of it. You got to get the kinks out, and usually they say when you come up with a product, it takes version 2 or 3 before you get it right. Fortunately, I really think I knocked it out of the park with version 2.
Yeah. I mean, do you have any version 1s left?
Nope. I'm not making version 1s at all anymore. We sold out of them, and I will make black ones. They'll just be version 2 style to them.
Yeah. So. I do like the larger lip around the side.
Yeah. Yeah, and when I made it, it wasn't just for the PDR industry. I have mechanics buy it. I have gunsmiths buy it. All sorts of people do buy it. Craftsman people and stuff like that. So it surprisingly enough, Ryan, that mat will hold 5 cups of fluid.
Really?
Before it flows over, because of that lip.
That's crazy.
So, and then it cleans right up. It's chemically resistant. It cleans up, and you're good to go.
So, if you look at all the tools you bought at MTE, what would you say? This is my number one tool that I was excited about.
Number one would probably, it's going to be the Blehm bubble tips or balloon tips that I have a couple here. I'll show you. I'll show you the smaller one so it shows up on camera a little bit better. But did you get these at all?
He had his set pulled aside for me. I told him to make sure he sells it. I really wanted the 24-inch one.
Yes.
And I actually used it, and Daniel always gives me a hard time because I never smile. So I sent him like the biggest cheese smile picture holding it because it's an awesome tool.
Now, if you look at that tip, I'm on that camera. That's why. Okay. So people were asking, well, is it shaved? Yeah, it's pretty shaved down. It's perfectly shaved.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times when I get a whale tail, I'll take a file to it and get a little bit more sharpness so I could cut through glue a little bit better. But this is really flat and shaved already. These tools are hard to make. They're forged.
Yes.
This is not
like a samurai sword.
Exactly.
That's how Mark explained. We went to dinner and he says, those things took me forever to make.
Yeah.
I told him, I said, make a video on how you're making it. He's like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Secret stuff going on in that tool. So,
sure.
I used it. It pushes really soft. It doesn't give you the little sharp high spots in it.
Yeah.
And it cuts through the glue and the brace like nothing else I have.
Yeah. I made the mistake of telling Daniel or telling someone next to Daniel that it's not going to work good on a sharp dent, right? And he came flying across the room and was like, whoa, no, what are you talking about? It's perfect on a sharp dent. You can get the center out really quick and this. And I'm like, okay, I was just kind of making an observation that I don't think it's really going to work on a sharp dent. But it was... I haven't used it on a sharp dent yet, but it saved my butt on the bottom of a door of a Tacoma, rear door of a Tacoma. I went right down through the wiring loom and right through that brace and boom, rocked that sucker out within seconds.
Nice. And Q's saying he missed out on them. I know it's going to take Mark a little while to make another batch.
Yeah.
But as soon as they come available, you better buy them because they're badass.
Yeah. I believe that they're shooting for MTE Orlando for the next batch.
I thought you were going to tell me another MTE this year. I was going to freak out.
MTE Vegas. You're going to have to wait a full year. So the difference, one thing I wanted to point out, Ryan, with them, I'll take the longer one. They're what is it called? The samurai technique?
It's forged.
Forged. Okay, so when they forge it, it's from round stock. So he's flattening all this out, and it's shaved all the way up. But once you get past the shave part, it's back to being a bendable tool. So you bend this any way you want. You could bend it in a complete circle and slip it however you need to get it into a panel. But the strength is all in the front of it. So all the twisting motion, it's never going to twist sideways on you at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I asked him, I had some older, there was an older tool that was somewhat close to that. It was an old Dent Wizard whale tail.
Yeah.
And the end would always twist. So we were at dinner and I said, is the head going to twist on this thing? And he looks at me serious. You know, Mark's a serious guy. He looks right at you and he says, if the head twist on this thing, you're doing something wrong and we've got major problems.
Yeah.
So, you know, with the forge process, you know, it's in hot fire, bring it out. You know, it's just like knife making or samurai sword making. He said each one of those, you know, are legitimately handmade.
Yeah.
So I think the price point's right for a whole set for, you know, for what you have there. What's it? 5 tools, right?
It's 4. It's basically $100 a tool.
Yeah.
So think about the small one here. Okay. Think of this at 50, but the large one's 150, you know, either way, however you want to, you know, figure it out. But it's a lot like our old Dent Wizard PDL 1, 2s, and 3s. Those were forged as well.
Yes.
But let me ask you this, Ryan. Why did you twist it? Were you heating that crap up red hot to get it through the glue?
Yes. Yes, of course I was. That's what we do,
That's what we did. But it destroyed the forging of it or the tempering of it by doing that.
I even have some Dentcraft whale tails now that I heated over the years, and they're all bent up and weird shaped and purple and blue. But, you know, back in the day, I remember heating tools that were glowing red and jamming them in the doors and the terrible smell of the glue. And
I call it my sacrificial whale tails.
Yes.
I don't fix a dent with it. I just sacrifice it to cut through the glue and then put it away.
It's funny because I remember when Shane first started with me, he pulled this thing out, and it is just kind of looks like a snake. You know, it's all worn out. And he's like, what is this? I'm like, that's the baddest glue cutter you'll ever have.
All right. What's up, Scotto?
And the Dent Reaper's in here. Look at that.
Oh, the Dent Reaper and John Scotto from Boston.
The Scotto. It's the first time I met John. He's a super nice guy.
Oh, he's super cool. He's fun to hang out with. And,
he's an East Coast boy. So
East Coast. He loves tools too, man. I mean, he buys a lot of tools and he loves the Stanliner collection as well.
He does. He bought a couple there.
Let me ask you this, Ryan. The issue that I have a lot of Stanliner tools. I don't have a crap ton like Scotto or some other guys out there. You know, Don Kavanaugh, he's got a crap ton too. But why do you think that they make limited edition Stanliner tools? I mean, if it's great, don't you think they should be making like hundreds of them or thousands?
I think because everything's handmade again. You know what I mean? I think Kaz is very selective in what he's making. You know, he's 70 some years old. So he's touching every one of those tools. I don't know. I don't understand some of that. You know, like that tool that Mike Toledo got, that spoon.
Yeah.
That thing looks awesome. And they only had 2 of them there. So
that's it. Yeah.
I don't know the reason.
Yeah, it's a little bit baffling to me because I mean, I have a technician that I help out and coach a little bit at my shop, and he buys a ton of stand liner tools. And you know, Thomas usually tells him, "Hey, this is a limited edition." I'm thinking, why is it limited edition? You know, it's a great tool. Make a ton of them. You know, I understand like the difference between pirate hooks because Kaz is making everything by hand, or Killer Whale. They vary from, you know, tool to tool, but don't stop making them. If it's a great tool, we all need one.
Yeah, and you're gonna sell them. You know what I mean? I mean, I think they left with like 14 tools.
Oh, really?
You know, I mean, it was a small box that he was shipping back.
Yeah.
I was hoping they would just fall into my luggage, but it didn't work.
I didn't realize he had any left. I would have gone over there and talked to him.
Yeah, it was not much left. So, but the Dent trials too. I mean, that some of that stuff was brutal.
Mm-hmm.
The cool thing, I saw a lot of the new tools being used over there too.
Yeah, which is kind of shocking too, because you would think that you would go to Old Faithful and use what you know, right?
Yeah.
Especially on a nasty dent on that door.
The rear door, I think, was definitely worse than the front door.
Yeah.
It looked sharper. I don't know. I don't know if I could fix that in an hour.
Yeah, it's definitely a trial, right?
Manny's just a freak.
He is. He's in my neck of the woods. I met him for the first time at our tech meetup. And really nice guy, good technician.
We're trying to, me and Scotto are going to try to put one together for the East Coast. So we'll see what happens here. We're going to have to look at scheduling, and we're getting into winter. So,
well, maybe that's a good time to do it.
I think so. Even though it hailed yesterday in Colorado. So you never know what's going to happen.
You never
what I mean?
know. You never know.
So a tool that I picked up, I'm a big Carbon Tech guy. I do a ton of roofs. I probably do more roofs than most people in the country. And I love the Carbon Tech rod. It just does what I need it to do. And this new hanger from Chad and Todd is badass. I used it today. There's a couple things I really like about it. A lot of guys like that sliding on the regular hanger.
Mm-hmm.
I don't a lot of times because I'm putting so much pressure and sometimes it's moving around more than I like.
Yeah, yeah.
This kept it really stable. You know, it didn't move a whole lot. And I like that I could move it just a little bit because it spins. I like that I could just move it a little bit each way to do the dent, and how easy this slides inside the door. So a lot of times, like my door hanger, I'll have to open the door and then slide it over, get it in there. This is slick enough to where it just slides inside that door.
Nice. Is there something on the top of that protects it?
There's not. So I asked Chad this.
Yeah.
So when I first saw the couple pictures that he posted, and I said, I'm a little worried about the top.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like, I know Chad really well, you know, and he's a very methodical thinker and thinks a lot of things out. So if you take either, what is it? You could do Todd's or Chad's hanger, and this is in the door. This is almost the same surface area as the regular rods, the hanger that he uses in his hanger. It's like a little nylon piece.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was worried about this damaging the rail.
Right, sure, scratching it or something along there.
But it's so smooth. I mean, it's polished plastic. Not saying it won't scratch it, but
it's also something you might be able to just take a little bit of sandpaper to in your polisher and polish it out if you do get a nick or something like that on it.
I really like the end cap to it. You know what I mean? To where this does not come off.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah, that's awesome. What's the strap made out of underneath? It's a same material as it's this ratcheting material, almost like a snow boot ratchet. And then it's got I actually took it off today. It's almost got like a soft nylon material band that goes on there. Oh, gotcha. Some webbing. Yeah. I mean, it's soft enough. A lot of guys were worried about scratching rods or, you know, this makes it to where if it was plastic, it would be too slick. This kind of slows it down a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. Price point's right at $149. Oh, that's sweet. But
they're coming out with some. I didn't get it because I don't have a Carbon Tech hood stand. But did you see their new ratcheting system for the Carbon Tech?
No.
So they've got this new ratcheting system for hoods and trunks that hooks to Todd's Carbon Tech stand.
Oh, really? Okay.
So it's kind of got these different hooks. It uses the same kind of ratchet idea.
Yeah.
They've got they've got some really cool stuff. They're gonna have some new stuff out for Orlando MTE. So
that's part of the problem when you work booths, and I didn't get a chance to run around and see everything. And I know 2 days. What's up, Jason? 2 days. It seems like a long time. You're basically in there for what, 6-7 hours a day.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I was doing the PDR Tool Time booth and the IMI booth, and I was teaching a class and popping over to the Anson booth and helping those guys out. So I mean, conversations I had with people, I regret not being able to spend more time with people because it was like 5 minutes tops per person. It's like, okay, I gotta go.
And you're wiped out. I mean, I could see it on your face from teaching that class. You're fried.
Oh, fried.
Someone's
wife came over to me at the bar Thursday night, and I was just glazed over. And she's like, men only have a certain amount of words that they could say in a day before they just shut down. I'm like, well, I've reached that point, honey. I'm done. Give me a whiskey.
When is your next IMI training?
The next one's in Greeley, Colorado, at Cole Fox's place for the Mega Media event.
Super cool.
And they got the Mega Media on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then we'll be doing the IMI on Sunday. And then after that, we have the PDR World Cup in Branson, Missouri, right after that.
Yes.
So
Mark Blehm keeps trying to persuade me to come to that event. It's just, there's a lot of traveling this year. It was never like this before. No.
And it's not easy to get to Branson. I got to do some jogging around the country to get there. But I really want them to be successful. I want everyone to be successful, whether you're a tool manufacturer or a dent technician. I mean, there's so much room in this industry for growth. I mean, we're teenagers right now. We need to move on and move forward,
I think it's definitely growing, and it's nice because perfect example, the class that Dave Stream and Lynn and Mike Toledo talked in, that was like amazing how much information that they were putting out there for the guys.
Yeah.
It was packed full.
I'm surprised how much, because when you go to those, Mike doesn't hold back. I mean, he gives out his secrets and techniques. And usually he holds that stuff for Mega Media. So if you get an opportunity to do it at an MTE, you should really jump on it.
Yeah. So what else you got? What else was your number 2 pick there?
Number 2. Well, I got a couple prototypes that that not everyone has just yet. But this sucker right here, I don't know if you can see it well. This is a tool that comes from New Zealand. It's a slide hammer. It's massive. I wish I could switch my other camera. But the weight of it's probably like 7 or 8 pounds. It's heavy.
Yeah, I think he said 7.5 or something. I don't remember where.
So
that thing is sick.
It is awesome. The cool part, which is a patented tip, because this is actually 3 years in the making now. He's made it so you have the regular tip on it for your glue tabs, or you spin this down and you flip it around and tighten it back up, and now you have the pass through. So that alone is a great option. But where we're really going to use this mainly is going to be with Glexo, because you need that power behind the Glexo to pull it out successfully or fast, and you need the shock value of it, right?
Yeah.
So there's not springs in the back. There's actually 2 washers, and they're not flat washers. They're actually
they're domed.
They're domed. So it takes that impact when you slap it. that's you feel it, but it doesn't feel like a regular slide hammer when you go metal to metal. It's cushioned. So, and those washers might flatten out over time just because of the sheer weight of this thing. I mean, it's heavy. Yeah,
that thing is well made.
So
it's anodized. I mean, the guy that created that is so passionate about that tool, kind of had it hidden for almost till the end of the show.
Yeah. The only other one that I know that's in the United States is with Don Cavanaugh, which got it a few months ago. It's my understanding, and just to give you an idea, if you guys know who Barry McTarcy is, he's the creator of the Doodah. Well, Shane Griffin, the guy that came up with this slide hammer, that's his best friend. So Barry just spent a month in New Zealand with Shane, helping him develop some other tools and whatnot. But very, very well made.
It really is. I can't wait for it to come out. I just can't imagine what the shipping's going to cost from New Zealand.
Don't worry. That's been solved. Uh-oh. It's going to be manufactured in Texas, and Anson is going to carry it.
That's awesome.
So that's going to save us all, because who knows what that's. I think the price point's going to be about $250 on that.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad at all.
Hey, Matt. I'm not sure. I haven't touched a CarePoint slide hammer. I don't know how heavy it is. Have you touched one?
I have not. I have not tried one.
But Matt, come up to Orange County, come test it out. Or we're going to have a tech meetup in California again on December 17th, I believe. I'll bring it there as well.
These guys doing all the tech meetups. So you have, and that's what I said to Scotto. I said there's not a whole lot of East Coast guys like it is in California that are passionate about paintless dent repair. I mean, unless you're with the Wiz or some of these other companies, it's going to be a little bit of a reach, but I think it'll be a good time. I know we were talking about doing it at Scotto's because he's got that new badass shop. So,
well, how long of a drive is it for you to Scotto's?
It's like 10 hours.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to take the train.
Oh, train.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, because I'm thinking, because there are guys that traveled all over the place from Southern California. We actually had a guy from Sacramento, which that's not an easy drive. That's a 300-mile drive that came down.
That looked like a great event, though.
It was cool.
It was
really good. Yeah.
It really did.
I wasn't expecting 45, 48 technicians to show up. We ran out of burgers. We had to go get some more.
Hey. Nobody could have shown. You guys are superstars, so they were going to show up.
I don't know about that.
They just wanted the giveaways, the raffles.
Yes. Well, we didn't even know we were going to do raffles. That. We didn't know we were going to do that. That's actually we they were kind enough. Ultra was kind enough, and everyone was kind enough to donated it. And I was out of pocket about $500-600 with food and beer.
Wow.
And someone came up with the idea, let's do a raffle for those tools and reimburse yourself. So yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah. So it all kind of worked out.
So my next batch of tools that I'm super excited about, the dead center crease tabs.
Yes. These
things. So I use these the last 2 days. If you don't have them, just trust me, go get them. It's $80 for the a variety pack. It's worth every dime. I've used it every day since I've been back from MTE, and they're sick. They are sick. I mean, this the pull on these things. I really like the dark blue over the ice. I was telling Mike this the other night. I said I really think that the dark blue pulls harder. I know it flexes more than the ice, but I used it on some aluminum, and the dark blue seemed to work really well for me. So,
okay.
But it's all preference, It's all.
It's going to depend on the dent, right?
Yeah, it's a really good kit. The other thing that I picked up from Keco, I don't know if you guys saw this. It's probably going to make a lot of noise. Their little Glexo kit. So they came out with their own little Glexo kit, and it's got a couple things in here. It has all the standard Glexo tabs, the same sizes, but they're made out of the same ice material. And one feature, I was always with my sticky tab tape and my what's it called? And the original Sergio cold glue was it would get everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, I always had wax paper on it, all curled up. You pull it out, you look like a caveman peeling it off. But they came out with these nice little caps. Chris White tells me that the Glexo is not going to stick to it. So we're going to see. I've got a pretty good smash tomorrow, so I'm going to maybe do a live video on this whole kit while I'm using it and see what it does. I don't know if the pull's going to be different with the plastic than it would with the stainless tabs. So,
and just for the record, they're not copying. They're working in conjunction with Glexo.
Yeah, they're working with them. So this tab says Keco and Glexo on the tab itself.
Yeah.
So they're working together. They sell it with the glue. It comes with a Glexo glue pack. And the other option, since Keco is so big into trying to work with the body shops, is they came out with these eyelets. And what these eyelets do for the body shop guys are you can unscrew the stud out of it. And when you unscrew the stud, you can put the eyelet right on the tab, and they can pull it with their frame machine or regular dent pullers that they have that hook.
The hook, yeah, exactly.
So I think it was a great addition to what they were trying to do. I just think it's a multi-function. I have an older slide hammer from a body shop, so I may even use that because it's much heavier than what I have. So
yeah.
That was a great addition. I think it was $230 for the whole kit. And I just think it looked like a good deal. I didn't have any Glexo, so we're going to see what happens tomorrow.
That was one of my big regrets. One of my big regrets was not getting that kit. For some reason, I didn't get over there. I got my bag of tabs, but I caught Chris White walking out the door with everything. I said, like, what do you need? I go, I need those dead center tabs. But I totally forgot to get that. And now that you said that with, the caps, they're silicone. And my product is made out of silicone, and silicone's not cheap. Yeah. And to make a mold for that, there's big bucks involved with just making that mold.
And you had Chris on the show, and they don't even make their own molds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to make this, it's not an easy, cheap product.
No.
It's got their logo embossed in it. It's got this tab. It's a well-made piece.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I wonder. I'll have to check it on my mat. Maybe the Glexo won't stick on my mat either. It's silicone.
We're gonna try it tomorrow.
Yes.
Give it the whirl.
What do you call it? Like silicone is $3 a pound, and my mat has 3 pounds of silicone. That's $15 of silicone just in my mat alone. You were talking about costs and molds and stuff like that. My mold was $15,000 for my Magnatek mat. So for them to go and make covers for our Glexo tabs, I'm sure it's not $15,000 for those, but it's probably up there.
It's it's going to take them a long time to recoup.
Yes,
their investment. They've really pushed, and Gene Fetty and all those guys are really doing a good job promoting it. And did you see their new leverage tool that they have
for the arm?
Did you use that at all?
I haven't. No, I think it's still in prototype mode. They don't have the actual tips that'll lock onto a tool just yet.
The force of that tool and the little bit of effort you have to do is really scary.
Yeah.
You're not really moving the tool. You're just barely moving your arm, and it rests on here, and it drives. I mean, that thing was scary.
Are you still an upside down guy?
Periodically.
Okay.
I have kind of slid up now. I'm kind of working like this on a stool, but I do still go upside down.
Okay. I'm still upside down, so I'm not sure how that's going to work for me.
And the other thing I said to Gene Fetty with that is I think it's really going to be a selective type of dent that you're going to have to use on it because of that arm may hit the back side of the door.
Yeah.
If the dent's farther back, you need a lot of room there. So, but it is adjustable. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It was ratcheting. They had one for the Ultra rods. They had one for the A1 ratcheting system. So it looked like a pretty good tool.
Yeah. Well, Craig Dyer about 6 months ago, coined the year of the handles, and that's just one more that's coming out. You know, there's so many new handles that are starting to be more ergonomically correct for us that is saving us, you know, a lot of wear and tear on our bodies.
Yeah. So Matt's asking, give me the negatives of MTE, one show a year, and alternate between Vegas and Orlando.
Oh, to alternate. Well, you got to keep in mind, they're in business to make money as well. You know, this isn't a charity for MTE. I don't think they make a killing off of our show. I don't think they probably broke even in Vegas.
Yeah.
But, you know, look at Orlando. There's about 6,000 attendees. I'm sorry. Was that? Yeah, I think last year or the year before was like 6,000 attendees, you know, between detailers and all that. I think we had about 1,100. The actual numbers haven't come through yet. We didn't get them just yet. So I'm going to both. I would, as a technician, I don't see a difference really. You're either going to go to one or the other, or maybe both if you like hanging out with cool people.
And that's what I said in another show. I just said I don't know of the draw, you know, the draw of both shows. What's going to make me fly 5 hours compared to 2 hours? So I don't know what they can do to make a draw. You know, I don't know.
I think as a vendor, you need to be at both, because I know the ones that did not have a booth that showed up. I know like Carl Stuckey was there. Dent Reaper was there checking it out, testing the waters. I think they probably regretted not having a booth because they probably could have sold some product. What's 5 hours?
I guess Baltimore.
Oh, Baltimore.
Maybe
Okay.
he's talking about Baltimore. I think it's farther than 5 hours.
Okay, not 10.
But it's okay.
Yeah, either
We'll
way.
figure it out. I'm coming, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm just not driving.
Right. Hey Matt, how did you do? You know, with your Neverloose stuff. I mean, I love the Neverloose
He had a kick-ass
products.
booth.
He did.
He put a light box. That was the first thing I said to him. I said, "This light box is badass." He's like, "You know, it's lit backlit." I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, it looked good. It looked like a SEMA booth. You know what I mean? I mean, he put a lot of time in that booth. So,
Oh, Daniel's calling.
He's probably saying, "I didn't get the email." So yes, I mean, Jason's saying that the Vegas show was close knit. There was definitely tighter groups of people that really had good conversations. There was good conversations, quality conversations. It was just different, and you could kind of migrate from one group to the next group and get into their conversation and have those conversations. I mean, we sat, Jason, I, and the Dent Reaper sat up there till 2 a.m. just talking nonsense dents. You know, it was just really quality conversations, and I enjoyed it. I think we had more personal time at Vegas than I did in Orlando.
Yep.
More personal conversations and discussions about things. And I've realized that back in the day with the dent industry, everything was a secret. Everybody kept everything secrets. Now it's telling ideas or how to help market yourself or tool ideas, or it's we're very lucky.
Yeah, absolutely. Daniel asked to resend the link if you can.
Okay. I can do that.
He's not seeing it. dentdynamics@gmail.com for everyone out there if you want to spam up Daniel Gromm. dentdynamics@gmail. Yes.
He'll love that. What was your thought on the tight knit?
I mean, there was no ego or stuff. Of course, you got a couple turds walking through that. There'll always be a turd in the room, but you just ignore those guys and move on and carry on with what your mission to do when you come to these conventions, and that's to network and find new tools and new techniques and find out what you've been missing. That You know, the other thing too, Ryan, is not everyone's on social media. You know,
No.
and I met so many people that they don't have Facebook, they don't have Instagram. We have a sorry face or sad face from Mr. Gray Duck. Hey,
I guess he was crying because we were up till 2 a.m. talking a bit about dents that we started at 7:30 in the morning. So,
so it looks like Matt's giving us a thumbs up on his booth. I'm sure he did well. I'm sure he did great because he's got a great product.
He does. He does have a good product.
But back to the close knit, I think it feels like family when you go to these. It feels like you're seeing your extended family. You know, you're not related. I know, like when I go visit my cousins in England, I haven't seen them in 15 years, and we just pick up right where we left off. And it's the same thing when I meet up with Ryan. It's like, hey, dude, what's going on? It's like,
yeah, I
saw you yesterday. You know,
yeah. You know, it's changed a lot. It is nice. You know, it's fun. You know, it's just fun to see guys and talk dents and, you know, I don't know. It's just different. You know, like my buddy Josh came with me, and he's not a dent guy. And we were leaving, and he's like, man, those guys are cool. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, your industry is so different than every other industry out there. And I said, yeah, it is. I said, you know, you've got some really good guys that share information and help you. Hey, I need help with this. I talked to Jason last night. I'm like, look, dude, Jason the Dent Lion. I said, I need help with this whole geo-labeling pictures, and this dude's speaking a different language than me, you know? So,
yeah.
And everybody's willing to help.
Yeah. Well, you know what? No two dents are ever alike. You know, it's like a snowflake, and not one from California that's a liberal and all that type of snowflake. But you know, every dent is different. You know, why couldn't we talk techniques and how we get to that dent or that area on a car, or you know, what tools are we using in this scenario with this high strength steel or you know, and whatnot. It's not like we're hurting each other by sharing our techniques. I mean,
not at all.
Not at all. So,
you know, it's at this point, I remember, here comes Daniel.
Oh, Daniel.
Let's see what we can do here. Look at this guy.
There's the hairy monkey.
Oh, I don't think we can hear him.
No. Fix your mic, boy. Bottom of the screen.
How's that?
Oh, there you go.
That's much better. What's up, Daniel?
Dude, I'm so sorry.
What are you sorry about? I've been talking to you for 5 days. We're not sorry.
Oh, man, I was rushing to get this job done, and I was hoping the guy was going to be happy with it when I was done. And fortunately, he was. It was a $1,600 job, so I was trying to make it right at the very end.
I'm glad you made it right and not worried about our little Dent Digest show. So we're going through a little bit of MTE. We're going through some tools. We kind of went through, you know, what we thought were some of our favorite tools. We started going through that. So your balloon tool came up, your balloon whale tail. That's badass.
Thank you.
Thank you. If you picked one tool that you picked up at MTE, what would that be?
I got this unique thing.
Oh yeah.
God, what did he? I don't remember what he called this. Do you remember, Vince? What they're calling this?
Dent Defender.
Defender. That's right, Defender. So
he's out of Texas.
And he hasn't even been on the forums or anything like that. Really didn't know anything about anything, and put this tool out. And this guy was really pretty. He was a character. I mean, he put it on gloves and has this thing polished out. He makes them himself, and he's got a patent on it. He goes, I waited until I got my full patent, not a patent pending. And he was so proud of this thing. And I kind of fell into his enthusiasm. And I played with the tool, and I go, yeah, this thing works. These two big forks here really kind of hold the panel down when you're pressing on it. And it works really well. You know, if I were to critique it a little bit, it would be great if it had a spring in it, so it would kind of
Spring back.
Spring back.
Interchangeable tips, maybe.
Yeah. Yep. That would have been nice.
Although it does work fine the way it is.
Yeah. No, it works tremendous. It's a great tool. I mean, I might put rubber handles on it. You know,
his
little
action
details
was
like that.
unbelievable.
Yeah, it wasn't it right?
Hold it. Hold up
he
to the
wore
camera.
white gloves, and when you bought. I was there when you bought that. And, you know, he takes a tool and he's wiping his handprints off of it, and then he puts it in a microfiber bag inside this canvas. Like, this guy was so passionate about that tool, and we just stood there and watched him. And just watching him wanted to make you buy another.
Yeah.
Hold it up to the camera. Let everyone see it a little bit.
I told him, I go, I'm going to get my greasy paws all over this. There's no. It was kind of funny that he was doing that. So it's a Fender tool, and it comes with a nice rubber cap, so you can go steel or this one cap. So what I didn't ask him, and I thought about it afterwards, I'm like, how do I get more of these caps?
Dentcraft.
These are Dentcraft?
They're Dentcraft, yes.
Really?
Yep, you can buy them. They go on their plastic knockdowns.
Okay, cool.
They'll come in different colors, but they're all the same thing. It's a hand dip tip.
Okay, cool. Haven't got a chance to use it in real life yet, so haven't had that situation yet. So I'm excited.
No bench grinder yet.
No, just I'm going to use it raw and how it's intended, and try it out. But I did try it out. Oh, there you go.
Did you hear that?
I did try it out at the show, and he was like, "Wow, you know what you're doing. You fix that fast." And I go, "Oh, okay." I guess other people weren't as fast. I don't know.
You're just the best, Daniel.
Nah. They were pretty. I mean, they were small. I mean, it's an easy. I mean, if you're using the other pliers, it's pretty much the same kind of thing, but you're getting more support on the panel, so it's different. It's definitely different.
It has padding on the backside, right, Daniel? That was one thing that I was worried about.
Yeah, and it comes with an extra set of padding that you can carve this off and glue another one on there. So
with a bench grinder.
Yeah, it was pricey. This was $240, so it wasn't cheap. But like you said, the guy's passion sold me. You know, yes. I was like, he hand makes these in his garage. What's that worth? I said to myself, and I'm like, you know, I'm buying in. You know, I like supporting new guys. It would have been great if we would have maybe gotten this on our hands on it a little bit early and be able to coach them a little bit. That would have been great, and put our suggestions. But you know, when you talk to a tool maker, you know, a lot of times you go, well, what about this? What about that? And they'll give you arguments and say, well, the reason I didn't do that is because of this. And then you go, okay, yeah, I get it. I see why you didn't do that. So who knows, you know? And
he knew nobody, you know, when you guys walked up, he didn't know who you guys were. Nothing.
Perfect example. Not everyone's on social media.
He hasn't been on social media until he launched this thing. So, but I liked it. There's actually there's two guys there that really came to the show and didn't know anybody or anything. And I got that other tool here. These little minions. I call them minions. Did you already talk about them?
No, not yet. Go ahead.
No, that's all you.
Yeah.
Hold on. Are both of your spring loaded? Because I got two spring loaded ones. No,
one's solid, one's spring loaded.
Okay, maybe we should give one away. And you know, I'll send you, Ryan. I'll send you one.
Yeah, I would love to.
So I took out the rubber thing and I put a green one on the spring loaded one.
Of course you did, and you took it to the
knife.
Oh, I was hoping you were going to say it. I was on cue.
But you know what was interesting? You know who said he really liked these was Tom Price. He said he liked this idea.
The curmudgeon.
Yeah, I hope he's not listening.
That's fine if he does. He knows I love him.
Yeah.
Fine. No, we love Tom, but he's usually very cynical about new tools. And I was like shocked that he was like, yeah, I think that's great. And this guy was very open. He goes, look, I know I was going to get criticism for this. He 3D printed these. I don't know how he did that, but there's some engineering going on in this thing.
And it's a good concept. You know what I mean? When I first talked to him, I was like, okay, it's got the old school metalworking part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, did you guys ever see that guy that made a tip that looked like a crown? Mm-mm. And the whole idea was, to me, when I saw this, was, will it shrink metal? Mm-hmm. If you look at a shrinking hammer, it's kind of the same kind of thing. It has a waffle pattern. And so I'm wondering if you could actually shrink metal like this. And, he picked a square pattern. Maybe it should be a round pattern rather than a square pattern. But he's going to make these into tips. So he was there to get feedback from everybody, which, isn't a bad idea. Mm-hmm. He was open. He was a super nice guy. And
Dwayne Lagenfield.
That's it.
Thank you, Dwayne. Super nice guy. He was. You could tell he was very shy about, and maybe a little bit overwhelmed by everything. But we tried to make him feel at home. Hopefully, he felt that way. And here's the thing: a new guy coming out of the field making a tool, it's a big deal. It takes a lot of your heart and soul to make something new. But guess what? That's the first of many things coming down the road. That guy, this might be a total flop. It might be a huge thing. You don't know. But what's this guy going to come up with, down the road? And we got to take these new guys that are coming in as tool makers, and we got to, welcome them in and take care of them, because they're the future of our industry, and totally. we got to make the best of it. And hopefully they, Chad Peters is a great example. The new guy out of the box. We started working with him a little bit, and now he's hooked up with Todd, and they're both working together. I have a couple things that he's doing for me. Those straps, I think those straps that did you see those straps that he did on the Carbon Tech hood stand?
Oh,
Finn didn't.
I missed it.
So they're the same straps that he has on all the other stuff, the ratcheting straps, but he put a ratchet on it so you could ratchet down the hood, and it's rock solid.
With like the boot straps?
Yeah.
Like the ski boot strap? Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay. And I mean, once you ratchet down your hood, I mean, it ain't going nowhere. A rope thing, it does all right, but it kind of gives and loosens up after a little bit. Yeah. And those straps don't. So I sat there and talked to him. I go, well, what about the straps doing this? And what about the straps doing that? I'm looking at it. Hey, can I use it in the tank vise somehow? So I think there's a lot of possibilities with those things. And we hashed out a bunch of ideas. So we'll see it's going to come down the road.
I love watching two guys, and you look at Todd's product and you look at Chad's product, and they kind of both are making hail rods. So they're in the same business. And
they come together. And they're not enemies. Together,
and they're building badass tools.
Yeah. And that says a lot to their character. I mean, both those guys, I know Todd a lot better than Chad, but they're single-minded, I think that's why they came up with that logo, which was really cool.
And Chad doesn't sleep. So that guy runs on about maybe 2 hours sleep. I mean, he's a
him and his wife are sweethearts. His wife is golden. She is, we're gonna get great things out of him for sure.
It's gonna be fun.
Yep.
One thing that I have not brought on yet, and I did get, and I used it today on 3 cars, is the B&D prop and lock extender.
Oh man, that's what I brought one of those.
So I really enjoy it. It's well made. I mean, it goes way out there. I used it on 2 lift gates on, what was it? It was a Sienna and a brand new Expedition, which is kind of a tall vehicle.
Yeah.
And this thing really got it up there.
I think that's where it really shines, is on lift gates, because you know, when it's in its normal state, it's a little bit, it needs to go a little bit farther.
I don't know. I mean, if you're like Todd's height on hoods, you may need this.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, Daniel and I are really short fellas, so I don't think we're going to have the problem. But on lift gates, this is where it is. This is
right.
It as soon as I saw it, I was like, I'm buying this. How much is it?
Well, the cool thing is you can add more than one.
Yes.
You can keep adding them, get longer and longer.
Yes.
So I'm kind of excited about that, because I actually do more lift gates than probably hoods, to be honest with you. And you're always, you have to have them at that right height that's comfortable with your eyesight and wherever the dent is. So it's nice for sure.
And he had some other stuff you were saying, Vin, on the edge pliers. He had, so it's got the smaller footprint here, and it had a wider footprint here.
Yes. A larger bridge. Larger bridge. Yeah. Larger and thinner.
I did not pick a setup, but I will have to.
Yeah.
So I got mine today because I had to order it. But I didn't have time to assemble it, so I didn't bring it. So he's extending it so you can get further inside a Fender. Where I'm really kind of excited.
You're talking about something different, Daniel.
No, he made it so it extends that.
I know, but he's talking
too.
about the bridge. Yeah. Daniel's talking about the length. You could make it longer, but
and wider.
And wider, yeah.
So you get to do both.
Yeah.
Which on motorcycle Fenders could be exciting.
Hi, Jill.
How are you?
Miss you.
She knows everybody now.
Yeah. That's the result of MTE Vegas right there.
Yeah. There you go.
The women's getaway.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I love that Mike's doesn't see his tools as done.
Yeah.
Hey, let's make it better.
Yeah. I had some suggestions for him too. So you might be seeing something even better with that bridge coming out here shortly, just to make it that much better.
Yeah. He's never going to stop.
No.
And what's great is, you just buy an accessory and it does something else.
Yeah. You already have the main tool and you just buy the accessory and multi-purpose it.
What else do you have there, Daniel?
So I picked up this whale tail tip
from Ultra,
and it's curved. And I'm actually really excited about this because when I'm working on motorcycle tanks, if you've got a dent around the fuel opening, we have a hook tool, but it can only hook so much because you have to get it in there. And if you hooked it too much, you wouldn't even be able to get it in the hole.
I have one tomorrow. Can you send it to me overnight, please? Like literally?
You can drive over to Ultra. Man.
Oh yeah, that's probably closer. Never mind.
We all don't have that leisure.
And but sometimes I think I could go down to the bottom of the edge of the tank and maybe use this. So I don't know. I got to play around with it, but I'm excited about it. So it's a little thing, but it's the little things that make your life wonderful.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Did you get any Cam Auto glue at all, or do you have some already? This is the Keco. The Keco Cam.
You know
Auto.
what? I didn't. I only got like a couple sample sticks, and I can tell you this. Okay, first of all, you have to let it set up for at least 4 minutes, so it's a longer setup time.
It smells funny too. It smells like Canada, is what Ryan told me.
It's a Canuck.
Canuck. But it ain't coming off. Good luck getting that stuff off.
Right.
Don't use it on regular.
You really want to use that when you really want something super heavy duty.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's definitely tacky. I mean,
and be careful. Be careful because it could pull paint.
Oh yeah.
It's probably the strongest glue I've ever tried.
I had Shane working on a Civic dog leg with that, and it was just smashed all the way in. And I was like, just try it. You've got nothing to do. Just
got nothing to lose.
I bought a ton of that at MTE last year. Let's see what it does. And he pulled it out with that glue and some super tabs, and then worked his way down. And the shop was like, I can't believe he pulled that out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's this glue that, the guy would glue to a front rad support and lift the car off the ground with a forklift.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy strong. It's just, you got to be a little bit more patient, and it's not fun to clean off.
Is it coming off with the alcohol, 91%?
Yeah, but you're going to be picking at it.
It's still picking. Yeah.
Okay. What about heating it up again and like helping it along?
Yeah, doing all the tricks.
It reminds me of the old glue with denatured alcohol back in the day. It would get a little slimy and it would just come off in little pieces. It's a little bit of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good question, Dave. I had the same 91%. One. Yeah. Good to know.
Have you guys been using the Keystone Keco alcohol?
No.
So it's got ethanol in it. It's 99%. It works really, really well.
We can't get that stuff in California. 91 is technically as much as the VOCs or something. That I have seen 99, but it's come from Mexico across the border or Arizona.
Yeah, it works really well. Keco sells it direct now.
Maybe they'll ship to California. I spent a
lot of time with the guys at Keystone, like with the bottle. I'm close to a big Keystone thing here, so whenever it's something like that, they'll kind of send my way, and they spend a long time with the chemist. They spend a long time with the bottler to make sure the bottle doesn't expand and crack or dry out. If it doesn't spill easy, they spend a lot of time on it. It's pretty good stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the thing with Keco coming up now. I mean, like we said, they're spending money on stuff that cost a lot of money to do, like the mold for the silicone and this and that, getting chemists involved. There's a lot of science that goes into one of these tabs. A lot of science. When we had Chris White on the show, he shared a little bit, but off camera, he shared a lot of it. And there's a lot. You'd be surprised.
Mind-bending.
And then with Craig Dyer with glue technology, not all glue's the same, and so much chemistry is going into a stick of glue to come out with a good glue that works. There's a lot to it.
So what do you got there? I think I see a little bit of Stanliner.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of Stanliners. God, I always say that wrong.
Come on, say it.
Stanliners. I guess it's their 1/4 inch. It's probably in millimeters. It's close to a 1/4 inch diameter. And they're long, and there's nothing stronger. I mean, he says they're some kind of steel for aircrafts. And it's one step down below Damascus steel.
Military grade. I'm going
to tell you, it's badass. For
Let's
this
see the
length,
tip.
if this was any other company's steel, this thing would be bent silly. And this thing is strong as.
Can we see the tip a little bit more? Quit shaking it around there.
They polished the very end of it, so it will rust. He says it will turn a little rusty color, but they polished the very end. And that tool, I bought that one also, and that thing is sick.
Does it go to a blade? Is it go on the heel? Is that a blade? Is it sharp?
Yeah, it's kind of sharp on this edge.
Yeah. Okay.
So I have every tool he has in this diameter, and I use them all the time. And I'm surprised at how many times I can take out a large dent with these little tools and stick them through a small hole. I mean, I take on bigger dents than you would actually think you should, because they're so strong. And there's multiple points to push on in some of the other ones. But that's how you have to think about this tool is multiple points of pushing. So like you could stick this to the edge and use the tip as the leverage point and use the round part as pushing the dent, the larger round point. So just love all of his, if you're wondering if you should buy some stand liner tools and you don't know what to buy, I say start with the small diameters because they're easier to figure out. They're smaller versions of the bigger tools, basically. So once you understand these, then you'll understand the bigger ones, and it's a good place to go and start with. So,
and they're well made. I mean, it is. I bought that same thing. I actually use that on a Ford Explorer through the handle hole and fixed up by the belt molding, and it had so much power. I mean, it's
ridiculous.
That tool is sick.
Yeah. So,
how about you, Vin? You got another one? You got something else?
Well, I do have fishtails like that too. It's a little bit bigger diameter though. The last thing I brought to the table was the mat that's made by the Reflecto mat. You got yours in the back there, Ryan.
Yeah.
So what's cool about this is you're either going to be a line guy or a fog guy. One of these sides is probably going to be sacrificial because you're going to be throwing it on the ground. It is abrasion resistant and puncture resistant. It's also closed cell, so if you're on a floor that's wet, it's not going to absorb any moisture or water at all. So in theory, it's supposed to stick to it and not slip out. If you kneel on it, it's not going to slip out from underneath it. Obviously, this side is going to be the sacrificial side for this man right here.
Oh, yes.
Yes, of course. Here's one thing I would say to everybody. Don't let it sit in the sun for long periods of time.
And why is that?
Well, I have I buy these kitchen mats from Costco, and they're very, very similar to that. And I left one on the roof. I had to climb up on the roof, and I was using it to kneel down on my roof. It's corrugated. And I forgot about it, and I left it up there for like about a month. And I had to go back up there, and I go, oh, there's where I had left that. And the sun destroyed it.
Yeah.
Just destroyed. Yeah.
So. Well, it gets like 106 degrees out where you are, man. Yeah. For a month in the sun. Okay, so don't leave this out in the sun for a month.
Yeah. But I've already gotten it really dirty and it wipes right off. I'm kind of surprised how good it's already.
That's what they said.
Injected or something, correct?
Yeah, it's injected with the ink. So it's not like it's going to come off at all. I mean, you could totally bend it. Like Matt just said, you could bend it along a wheel well on a rear quarter panel to follow the body line and use it. I used it today on the hood. I threw it on the hood because I had to work on the hood. And, sometimes getting your board there, it's like, it's a pain in the butt. But you just throw that on the hood and do your deal and get on and off of it. It's made in the USA. It's made by TDN. Or TDN supplies it. You could get them at Anson. You'll be able to get them at Inventure Tools as well. I've used it every day since I got it since I got back, since Monday. And it's really good.
That mat, I have a larger one that's called the Forever Standing Mat. It's made by Ego Neal, who makes that physical foam material. It's almost like a memory foam.
Yeah.
And I've had that mat for 4 or 5 years, and I've dropped tools in it. It's jabbed it and put a little mark in it. Mm-hmm. It's still a badass mat. I mean, it lasts. I saw the people there, and they're like, stand on this. I'm like, I've had that mat for 4 or 5 years. I mean, it's an awesome mat.
It's kind of self-healing, right?
Yes.
I'll take
I mean, it'll tear. If you hit it with a knife, it'll put a hole in it, but it won't spread like an average mat.
No, I just poked it with my little pokey knife here.
Look at this guy stabbing mats. We're getting real here.
Really?
Hey, we put these tools to the test, man.
Put it in a blender. See what happens.
No, I just stabbed it really good, and it's not tearing apart at all.
Let's see here. No tearing.
I mean, right there, look.
Oh, look at that.
And like, there's some holes. You can see them in the white there, but it's not like ripping apart at all. I'm pulling on this really hard.
On the sacrifice side.
Sacrificial side, of course.
The Mike Toledo side.
That's what I'm going to say. Mine's going to say Mike on the bottom of it, and it's just... you know.
Put it on the
I tell
ground
him all the
side.
time, I'm like, I don't know how you fix dents. He's like, what do you mean? I said, I can't see a damn thing with lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah.
You got something else, Daniel?
Yeah, I picked up the Willy Quick.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, you picked it up?
Yeah, was that yours?
How much did you pay for that, Daniel? Mr. Five Finger
yours?
Discount.
Someone, you know what Hudson said? Once Vince is a short timer, man. He's not going to be pushing dents. He's going to be. So you can blame it on Hudson.
Okay, little bastard. Small
But
hands.
you know, I've been curious about this because I've seen a couple of people talk about it, but what nobody talked about was, and I was curious, is there? Okay, first of all, let me go through it. So here's the pros of this tool: it's lightweight, super lightweight. It's doesn't take up a lot of room in your toolbox. It's quick and easy to set up. And of course, carbon fiber always looks cool. Everybody loves carbon fiber. So there is the cool factor. The cons of it is this end here has some play in it. And on the door, it doesn't really make a big difference to me. I mean, we use Steck for years and years, and that has a little play in it. So there is some play in this. On a hood, I have a little bit more problem with the play, and I wish they would have basically done the same thing over here. I think they could have threaded all the way through here, and they could have maybe done the same thing. I don't know. But the play, you know, is a little bit of an issue. And but I just want to make it aware to people when they're choosing the tool. But the lightweightness, how quick and easy it is to set up, simple. It's a great tool. Just note that there is some play in here. And
Matt's asking how much. I think it's $200.
Yeah, 200.
yeah. You know, it's carbon fiber is expensive. I've been learning a lot about carbon fiber working with Todd and how much, you know, they sell it by the square inch.
Yeah.
Not by the foot.
Yeah, I think it's $200. I know he sells out a lot. I know Anson PDR carries it too.
And when I got it, this end, I had to take this to the bench grinder.
Oh,
Got it.
I took it to the bench sander, I should say, the bench sander. And I had the edges were all rough, and I didn't like that. So
I'm sorry, Bobby. I'm sorry.
I softened all the edges and polished it a little bit, so it feels good in your fingers. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Are you saying you have soft fingers?
No, I like things soft in my fingers.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's Hudson that has the soft fingers.
No, he's just got little fingers.
Little sausages.
Yes.
Yeah. We like to tease him about that.
I'm trying to think. I think that's all I've got with me. I mean, you missed the good stuff, so you know.
Yeah, you were late to the game, Daniel.
Yep. That's all right.
It is all right.
Yeah, and that's yeah, I think Keco is on fire right now.
Yes.
I've been using the dead centers, and they friggin' work like everybody's saying they're working. The crease tabs are working great. And I broke my first round tab today.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw guys on Facebook breaking the crease tabs already. So,
you know, I don't get too upset about that kind of stuff. I don't.
No.
It shouldn't. I don't think guys should make a big deal. These are expendable type of tools.
Consumable, definitely.
They're very consumable, and they're going to break. You fix one dent with it, it's paid for itself then 10 times over. So just man up and buy some more.
You know, had some really cool stuff this year was Dentcraft.
Yeah.
Oh God. You know, we didn't really even get to really dive deep into their stuff. they added quite a few tools. I got to talk to them a little bit.
They got ratcheting handles now that push down rather than up.
Yeah. And those ratcheting handles are very inexpensive.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the ratcheting handles, they were selling for $65.
Yeah.
So very,
I did buy the Fender blowout tool from them.
Oh, I did get that too. I haven't used it yet.
It's we're gonna see what happens.
I bought it about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I did a little barter with one of the girls there in the office for some mats, but it works great. It's not going to work on every Fender blowout or prevention. You're not always going to be able to ratchet it onto the strut mount or the spring and stuff like that. Look for other places, because really you want it to go directly 90 degrees, because if it goes like that, it's not tight enough and it slips off the fender. So you really want to go directly wherever you're hanging them. If you could find a place directly behind it and go straight to it and connect it, you're going to have better success rather than, going in on an angle to the strut mount.
I had breakfast, and TJ was at breakfast with us, and we were talking about how the ratchet straps now have to pull back towards, you're pulling into the well with the ratchet straps, and he said a lot of people were hoping that you could pull out.
Yeah.
So he's trying to see if there was something he could do or not. There's a lot of engineering to that part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense, because you do have to go into the wheel well and pull away from you pull away from you. You're not pushing away from you.
What if it had the straps like from Endeavor?
You still have to have something to ratchet it onto or to hook it onto.
I know, but differ straighter maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, go talk to Todd and Chad.
But they also had their standard hand tool set. So you have the 3 or 4 different sizes. They made those sharp tips now. They had a lot of new stuff this year. I was super excited.
Yeah, we're gonna have to spend a little more time with them, and see everything they have.
The big question that I heard around MTE Vegas was, when are they coming out with the Dent gear stuff? Because especially on the West Coast, there's a lot of Dent gear fanatics out here, and they haven't really released all that many. You could go back on Dentcraft. You could go on the Dentcraft site now, and they do have new NOS, new old stock. Yeah. But there's a lot of guys really wanting their favorite tools manufactured again, and they're not really coming to the table with those just yet. And I don't know why.
So I kind of had Richard, and I had a nice long talk with Richard about that, and it's another step. So, their tools are the raw steel that you have to oil because it's going to rust. Dent gear stuff was chrome plated.
Yeah.
So that's a whole nother step for them to go through to bring to the table.
I don't think I don't really think that's important.
I don't think it is too. In fact, chrome plating is, in my opinion, that's one thing that veered me away from Dent gear.
Yes.
Because chrome, when you start bending tools, it starts cracking off.
Yes.
And chrome.
And then it's sharp as hell.
It's sharp. And if you get a chrome sliver, it could actually kill you. It's a chemical that if it's embedded in you, you have to go have it removed, because it's a toxin.
It may be Orlando. So, they're really working on trying. I think they focused on getting some of this new stuff out because that ratchet handle's been in the works for a little while.
They should just be using the designs and using their handles and their steel.
And they have their new glue tabs too. They spend a lot of time on the glue tabs. So I don't know if you guys check those out. It's got a metal core with a plastic bottom.
I got some at Texas, and I wasn't. It's not something I keep going back to. Let's say that.
I'm a fan of Keco.
They weren't bad. They weren't great. They're just they work good.
Well, there might be another company coming out with what they're claiming to be an indestructible glue tab. So be on the look for that. Probably by Orlando, there will be a well-known company coming out with what they're going to call a indestructible glue tab.
But I don't see why that is important. I just want a tab that pulls great. In fact, if it pulls once and guaranteed to break, I'll keep buying them.
Sure.
Yeah.
But there is a market for guys that want their glue tabs to last forever.
Really?
Yeah.
Cheap bastards like you?
Yeah.
I've been using the red Blehm crease tabs forever.
Yeah, those
And
are
they've
great.
lasted, they last a long time.
Yeah. You can tell that plastic ain't going nowhere.
No. And it's made in-house. They make them there.
Yeah.
So
It's kind of like the Atlas tabs. Those suckers never broke.
Yeah.
No.
Same plastic, I think.
I mean, they never broke. I still use Atlas tabs too. They're great.
Yeah.
I've never used one.
Oh, really?
I've never used one.
I'll stick some in the bag for you when I send you out this.
What am I
sending
Atlas little crease tabs. I love those things.
Yeah, they're good.
Really?
Yeah. They look like the Blehm, except for they have the Atlas texture to them. They're not smooth tabs.
No, the ones that look like the old Worth.
Oh, the Chronos, the big suckers.
Oh, the oval.
No, they got the slit in the center.
I don't think.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Those I like that tab a lot.
Yeah,
it works good.
What's up, Benny?
So what is your prediction for tool innovation for January? I was going to say July, but it's January.
Honestly, this show showed a lot. Showed pretty much a lot of the hands of everybody. I don't think you're going to see a lot of new stuff. I only know of a couple people that couldn't get stuff for this show, so they're waiting for the next show. So a lot of people were showing off what they had this one.
Yeah.
I don't think they're waiting anymore, Daniel. I think as soon as a new tool comes out, they're showing them.
You're right. You're right. I am very pleased with Blehm and their whole process, and I plan on doing a lot more with them in the future.
They're good people.
Good people. They make a great tool, have a great handle, but their capability of being able to forge is huge. And I shared one other idea when I was there, but I got more. If they can do that forging process, there's another tool that I made back in the day it's a upper brace tool, and the thing was forged, and it's fantastic. It's a little bit short. I wish I made it longer, but when it works better than any other upper brace tool. And it's the thing about forging is you can get it super paper thin, and it's super strong. Yeah. And when you're working on those upper braces, you need something very, very thin, because they're always tight braces. And if I can have that tool remade, oh man, people would love it. So
one of the guys has been using the hog tabs. He says he's enjoying the oval ones.
Yeah. They work great. They're a great tab. I don't push them. I don't push any of my stuff that hard. I always get kind of conscious of pushing my own stuff.
We don't push anything, dude. I don't push my mat. We don't push the Viper skins, which actually
we're horrible.
The Viper skins are a collaboration for PDR Tool Time that we actually get 5% back for each sale. So we get about $2.50 per per Viper.
I don't even know how anybody's making money at the price point you have on that, because they're so well made.
Yeah.
But that's now my favorite. I took one of the Tequila tools, put that handle on it, and then I put the X grip on it, and it feels so good in your hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I did have to take it to the bench grinder.
Okay.
And I shortened
it. Coming.
The throw on it was a little bit too long. I like it I wanted it a little bit shorter, but that's what's great about that, because it's long. You can do that and make it any length you want. And it's my go-to window tool now. I had one just like it from Who was that from? I can't remember now. Have another tool like it, but the handle was worn out. It's been years, so I've worn the handle out, and so that replaced it. So
hey, look at
Chad
that.
Peters, yeah, he's saying some new stuff in Orlando, and Mike from B&D.
Yeah, Mike. He hasn't stopped by my shop all week. I'm surprised. Normally he's coming over and taking me to lunch and showing me all the new stuff. I haven't seen him. What's up, Mike?
He's been hiding.
You owe me lunch.
So I want to get this thing wrapped up. Vince and I have been rambling on for an hour and a half. It's good for the West Coast guys. A lot of West Coast guys popping in here because it's later in the afternoon. I am moving the live show to 9 o'clock, so I had a lot of requests to kind of move it a little bit. 5 o'clock your guys' time is just hard, but 10 o'clock was hard for me. So we're going to be going to 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, so it'll be 6 o'clock. Hopefully some of you West Coast guys can enjoy the show live. I really appreciate you guys coming on.
Yeah, thanks.
You know, I talked to Daniel like a week or two before MTE and said, hey, why don't we get together and try to get some tool stuff up there and a little bit of recap of MTE, and it just worked out really well. So I really appreciate it. You know,
we appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
You're
absolutely.
doing a great job.
How can guys get a hold of you? What's your best way of communication, through Facebook or, you know, through the PDR Tooltime?
Yep, through PDR Tooltime. If you need to email us, pdrtooltime@gmail.com. We have a Facebook group, PDR Tooltime. With the IMI stuff, you could directly get me on Facebook, or Vince at AnsonPDR.com is probably the best email. Like I said, we have those two shows coming up. We have Greeley coming up in Colorado, which is it's filled up quite a bit. And then we have PDR World Cup. I'm trying to get to you East Coasters, hopefully by the end of the year. There's a lot of interest with people wanting to host it. So we're talking about having one at Tori's place, potentially, another one farther east, maybe at Gene Fetty's place. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of interest in that. I will get to you East Coast guys. Just be patient with me.
We're just a stepchild.
You know, if you guys get enough people together, you know, Vince will come see you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I need 10 to travel.
Yeah.
You know, and if I'm going to the East Coast, if I'm flying 3,000 miles, I want 2 classes. So,
but honestly, any PDR guy could go to their local body shops that they service, and they can easily get those people out of a body shop to sign up.
Oh, because 100%.
Because you're going to, I mean, how many times do you go to a body shop and they're taking apart these hybrids, and they're not powering them down. They don't have cones around them. They're just,
and they're losing money.
They're losing money.
Oh God, yeah. Every body shop should have somebody certified.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
Yeah.
Don't say that, because I'm powering down cars that I'm not even pushing the dents on the car now. So
there's 2 guys in the classes right now. Since March, we have over 200 technicians now that are certified. And I had at least 2 guys that were making a business out of it, going around as R&I guys, powering down vehicles for body shops and getting paid for it. Yeah. You charge 1 hour mechanical and R&I to get to the plugs and everything else that you need to put off. So very easily, you know, do the math. You know, you're at probably $175 per car. How many of those do you need to do a year? And next thing you know, that's an extra 10 grand of revenue right there.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Fantastic.
No, I appreciate it, guys. And, you know, let's, your guys' show is really informative. You always have the newest thing on there, and it's really good content. So I appreciate it. I'm sure all these guys appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good show. So thanks, guys. I appreciate you watching. Join me next week, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And remember, guys, keep it real. See you on the next one.
For current discount codes, visit pdrtooltime.com. For sponsors like Hog Glue and Hog Tabs, making your job easier. Found at AnsonPDR.com.
Magnatek mat, magnetic utility tool mat. Version 2 is now available.
And Mobile Tech RX, the app that makes you money.